everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of the Overcomfort podcast. I am your host, Jenicka. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching and listening from wherever you guys are at. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I'm super excited for today's guest. We have the gorgeous Blanca Evette, or better known EvetteXO. You've always gone by Evette, or you just like love?
No, my family calls me Blanca. That's my name.
Right.
But I've actually always kind of like not been a fan of my name for some reason. I think it's just because, between you and I, growing up, I was kind of bullied
For being
Blanca?
Blanca?
Like people would be like, why is your name Blanca if you're not white? So
What?
like they would, like little kids would actually like say comments like that to me growing up. So I feel like as I grew older, I'm like,
You just
like
hated
I
it.
just didn't like my name.
Right.
So then that's kind of where Yvette.
Well, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I like
Thank
it.
you, thank you. I've grown to love it now.
Yvette, and I'm like, whatever. Either way, and then you just chose Yvette because
What's
to
my
go along
middle
with
name?
it. I love that.
Yeah, it's my
Cute.
middle name.
Okay. Well, you've been a high request, and I'm so happy that you were able to come because we were going back and forth about this schedule. But I'm so happy that you're able to be here. How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
I am.
Everybody
I'm having a
gets
little bit of
nervous.
anxiety, but you've been making me feel really comfortable. So
Okay,
thank you for
good.
having me.
No, I want you to feel good. You're in a safe space. We're not going to talk about anything crazy. You already know all the questions. And I just want to have like a genuine conversation with you because I just feel like a lot of people get misunderstood. A lot of the guests that come to are very misunderstood and kind of gives like a open insight of their life and like who they are and how they started and where they come from. So I'm going to pass the mic to you. I kind of want to know where you were born, who is Blanca, where she was born, how you grew up, how you got into social media, all that good stuff.
So I actually was born in Stockton, California.
Right.
Up north. It's a small, big town. And I like to say that just because it's a big town, but everybody knows everyone there.
Right.
But I grew up north, and I am the youngest of 5 children. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, which a lot of people actually don't know. I feel like they think it's just me and my sister because we're the only ones that are like.
You're the only one that you post her.
Yes,
She's the only
I
one
post her because she lets me. Like she likes to be. Not everybody's a fan of like being online, so she actually likes me posting her on the internet. And my other siblings are a little bit more private. They're definitely a little bit more to themselves. But I am the youngest of 5. Growing up, as far as like with them, it was definitely not, I guess, your normal childhood. Like they weren't siblings to me. They were more like extra parents.
Okay.
The age
you're the
difference,
baby.
yes, and the age difference between my brother and myself is about 6 to 7 years.
Wow.
So then my other siblings, it's like 10 plus years. So when I grew up, it was kind of like I had like 4 other parents that I had to listen to. I had to like I was always lectured by them. Like, why are you doing this? Especially because my mom was a single mom. So I really didn't get to spend a lot of time like with her. She was always working. She was always like, just trying to like make a living for us. So my siblings were like my parents.
Wow.
So if I was like not behaving or something was going wrong,
They were on your ass about it.
it was them, especially my sister. And I feel like we've grown a lot now where it's like more of a sister bond.
Right.
But in the beginning,
Was it hard to like create that balance? Because with me, my older sister was always my mom too. And I'm just like, okay, I got to a point where I wanted her to be my sister.
yeah.
Like, okay, like let's chill. Like I'm at an age, I'm like, I already know what's right from wrong. Like, can you like lean off? Was it the same for you?
It was. I feel like growing up with her, it's kind of funny because now we're so close. Like we're
Same.
really good, just like I am with all my siblings. So I feel like it's kind of hard to like show that closeness because I don't really post the other siblings, but we're all super close. We're a very like knit tight family. But with my sister, I feel like growing up, because she was so like disciplined with me, it kind of made me feel like she was like just hating on me. Like she was like always trying to like
She was nitpicking.
yes, like everything was, if I had to go somewhere, like say I wanted to hang out with my friends or I wanted to go, my mom would never be like, okay, let her go. She was like, if your sister says yes, then you can go.
Okay.
And I always had to make sure like I was like on her good side because she'd be like, no, I don't want to. But now as I've grown, I've definitely now realized why she was like that with me, because it was always like maybe the wrong friend group, or like say I was going out with like a boy or something, she just wasn't a fan, and she was like, no, I don't think you should do that. So now I know it's like she just had my best interest at heart. And now that we're older, I mean, now she can't punk me, you know? So now we're like, now we're
like, try me now.
I'm like, try me. Because now she's like, you don't listen to me. And I'm like, well, you're not my mother anymore, okay? Like, it's different, but it was good. Now we have like a great balance. And I feel like in the beginning, it's just because I was very in like that teenager stage where it's like, you think the whole world's against you.
Of course.
And like, everybody just, you know.
What is my life? Why am I here?
I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, it's been good. It's been good now, and we're great.
Oh my God. So how was it like in school? I kind of want to know, like, did you have a job obviously before social media?
Yeah, I actually started working at 14. Wow. So I started working at the flea market, which I think here in LA is called Swamp Meet.
Yeah. That's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I was working at the Swamp Meet, and I remember like I used to make $50 a weekend.
And you were
Saturday,
thriving.
I was thriving at 14. I'm like, $50, that's good. So I was working at the flea market, and then from the flea market, I worked at GameStop. I was at GameStop for almost like 4 years, like all through high school.
Oh my God.
And from GameStop, I was a waitress at Applebee's, and then I worked at a warehouse at Skechers, where I used to do like
you've been
crazy
everywhere.
No, like I've been working since I was 14, yeah. And then from there, I was a bank teller, and then from bank teller to banker, I was there for about 5 years, and then social media.
Oh my gosh.
It was like social media and banker at the same time.
Okay, so where did that idea come out of, like to do social media?
I mean, I definitely didn't think it'd be what it is today.
Of course.
Yeah, when I started, I took my job very serious as far as like me being a banker. If you go back to like a video that I posted when I first started social media, and someone asked me like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? 10 years being today.
Right.
I'm like, well, I'm going to be in corporate. Like, I'm going to be like,
I'm going to be the runner.
I'm going to be like this CEO, like, you know, like something. Like I wanted something to do with like the corporate world, but I didn't think I was going to do social media. That's for sure.
I mean, you are CEO.
I mean, yeah, but I felt like it was going to be like, I don't know, I was going to own the bank. It was completely different, but social media kind of was like just a fun thing for me to do. And it's funny because when I started social media, nobody knew. Of course. Even Ulises, like when I first met him, I remember the first time I told him, I'm like, so I do YouTube videos. And he's just kind of like,
what?
Like, I'm like, what is that? Like nobody understood it, you know? But I did it just because I loved it. Like I loved what I was just putting out for my audience. I was just picking up the camera and talking to nobody, but it felt like I was talking to somebody.
How many followers did you have?
At that time, it was pretty big because I wasn't really like known or anything, but I had 20,000 followers. Dude, and I was insane. Like, nobody had followers like that at the time, you know? Right. And then I lost my YouTube channel.
No.
Yes, and completely lost everything. I changed my name on there from my YouTube name used to be Love Evette. So then I was trying to change it from EvetteXO. So then it like gave me like a system where it was showing, hey, if you're changing your name, you're like completely starting a new profile, and it completely like took me down to 0. Yeah.
You were devastated.
I was, but it wasn't my job. So like it was like not the end of the world for me. I was just like, okay, well, you know, it is what it is. But
so where did Ulises come into all of this? Because you guys kind of grew up together, right?
We did. I met Ulises when he was 16 years old.
Look at him.
He was a baby. He was a baby, and I was 18 when I met him. And I was like, okay, I'm not trying to catch a case here.
Oh my God.
He was a baby when I met him. We met at the mall. And my sister actually was kind of saw him from afar and fell in love with him herself. And then realized he was only 16 years old. Of
course she would.
Yeah, he was only 16, and she was like, well, I have a sister. And he was like, oh, there's 2 of them. But I know. He's like, well, what does the other one look like? But we met at the mall, and then from there, we didn't really get serious until he was around like 18, 19 years old. We saw each other again and started following each other on social media, and then from there, the rest is history, you know? Aww. Like he's been there from the start for sure. And definitely a big push in like what I do today. Right. Because I feel like there's nothing that I can like emphasize more than like having a supportive partner. I feel like you can do a lot, but if your partner is not supportive of what you do, like you won't get far, you know? Because I feel like whenever it comes to like having your relationship, that's going to just be a strain, and it's going to be very hard for you to like want to do anything for yourself.
It's like dragging you, like completely. Yeah. If he was totally non-supportive and like, I don't want you to be on Instagram doing this
or why are you posting
probably wouldn't
that,
be
or
where you're at right now.
Yeah, and half of the stuff that I post too, I'm like, you know, like he's never one to tell me like, oh, like that doesn't look right, or why did you do that, or like he never, like if anything, if I'm always like second guessing myself, he's like, girl, relax. I'm like, you got this. So you're fine.
And then you had 3 beautiful babies from that.
I do. 3 and counting. No, I'm kidding.
Wait, no.
Pregnancy announcement here. No, I'm kidding.
Like, we have another one back to back.
No.
Speaking of back to back, you had Max and Cami back to back. Was that planned, or was that just like how it was?
I had Max planned. So Ulises and I had already kind of talked about us taking that next step because we did start dating really young. So I definitely feel like we got to experience a lot of we got to experience a lot of like, you know, we got married, like we traveled, we did a lot of like the partying phase. Like I know a lot of people now, like they're like, oh, you don't drink, but back then, like I went through like my whole party stage. Yeah, I went through my party stage really early on, and when we decided to settle down to have kids, Max was definitely planned. And then from there, Max was 4 months. So basically what Mateo is right now. And I was already pregnant with Camila.
Girl, I'm going to knock on
I know, right? I'm like,
knock on
I know. She was not planned, but she's been all my babies have been like my biggest blessing.
I could tell because when we were at dinner the other day, you were just talking about them with so much love. And like, I feel like you were destined to be a mom, like without even knowing too much, but I see the joy in your face or like on your stories. And you know, when you were telling me about Max's situation about school and all that, and I feel like they run your world. Like, would you expect your life any different without them, though?
No, I honestly don't even remember what life was without them. Like, sometimes I look back and I'm like, do I miss, like, that life and stuff? But I don't. Like, because I feel like I lived it, and that was, like, that moment. And, like, now this moment's with them, you know, and yes, they do run my world. Like I always say, like I've accomplished a lot of things in my life and I feel blessed for everything, but being a mom is like something that I feel so blessed, and my babies are everything. And if I could have like 20 of them, I would.
Really?
I love being a mom.
Ulises.
I know, he's like, girl.
No, he's like, right now, no. So is that why you stopped drinking though?
No, I stopped drinking. You know, funny story. When we went to the party that you guys invited me to, it was your guys' New Year's party.
Oh, yes,
So that New Year's party, I actually got my gallbladder removed 5 days before.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was drinking. Bad, girl, I was over there drinking with you guys. Like, that's the reason why I can't drink anymore.
Sorry. It wasn't me.
I remember even my brother texting me. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you drinking? You just got your gallbladder removed. And I Googled it. I was like, when can you start drinking? It said 24 hours. So I was like, I'm good.
She's like, Google said so.
I know. I was like, I'm good. But no, since then, I started kind of like slowly like drinking like here and there. But ever since I got my gallbladder removed, I have not been able to drink the same.
Wow.
So it just wasn't worth it for me anymore.
No, it isn't. And you're having your gallbladder removed, like, were you in serious pain? Like you had stones and stuff?
No, I did. And it was excruciating. And apparently it's really common after you have babies. Wow. So when I had Camila, I was having like the worst pain. Oh. And I was like, I can't do it. And then after, like, I was still having pain when I would drink. And I'm like, it's not worth, the alcohol is not worth the pain that I'm experiencing.
It's
you know?
Not. Even if you have a little bit, does it affect you?
Yeah. What? I had a glass of wine and I almost ended up in the ER. Because I had the worst pain. It was so bad.
Even with spicy food? You don't eat spicy food?
No, but like hot Cheetos, I wasn't able to eat them for like 2 years. I just recently started.
Sad.
Yeah, no, literally,
she's so sad.
No, and like pizza, because I love pizza. So like the tomato, I wasn't able to like consume it.
Also, like very acidic things, like lemons and all that stuff. Oh my God.
I know.
Did you ever get postpartum PPD, postpartum depression with that?
I didn't. No? I didn't actually. Thankfully, because I do suffer from anxiety, so I feel like that's something that I always was very concerned about, that I could have possibly gotten it, but no, I'm so thankful that I didn't. But I also like to say that it's because I'm very thankful for like the support that I have at home. Right. I have a lot of help. Like I have a lot of help, and you know, Lisa's is very hands-on. Like all of my sisters have always like taken time off to like come be with me and like really just give me that time to like heal and like sleep when I need to and take care of myself. And I feel like
it takes a village.
No, it does.
That's your village.
It does. And I would not be anywhere here if I wasn't for them, honestly, because.
So obviously comes the mommy hate, right?
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot? I've seen some comments, but like obviously you're the creator, your Instagram, whatever.
I feel like we always feel like it's worse because it's us consuming like every single comment. Right. Lately, I will admit it hasn't been like a lot of mom hate, but it's also because I haven't been posting my kids as often as I used to. So
you've kept it limited for that reason.
Yeah. And I feel like in the beginning, I used to post everything for Max, like every milestone, like, you know, him walking for the first time and his first meal,
his
like
little chinky eyes,
like everything, like everything. Like my audience definitely saw Max grow up, you know, and
but you learned.
I did. And I just feel like I didn't want my children to be a part of that, you know, like it's one thing for somebody to like say something about me, but when it comes to my kids, they're so,
of course,
you know, they're so innocent, like they have nothing to do with anything. So it's like, I rather just not even put myself or them in that situation. I've been posting them a little bit more lately and it's been better. But I'm very just careful too about how much I'm like exposing them to the internet and
because
stuff.
they're kids too.
Yeah, they're
like,
little.
And it's like everybody, it's just opinions. Like it's so unnecessary and it's like you're going to raise them how exactly you want to raise them.
But you know what? In the beginning, it was harder because it was so new to me. And I feel like it was such a time where I did feel like I was doing everything wrong as any first mom would. And I did feel like maybe a lot of those things that they were saying, I started to really believe them, you know, because I was like, okay, if they're talking about this, maybe I am doing it wrong. And like, I started second guessing myself as a mom, but now I'm 3 kids down, you know, I'm like, we got this mom thing down. So even if somebody does say something now, I'm like, okay, at this point, I already know
you already
who I am and what I do and that I'm a good mom. So
you, as long as you feel good, you feel good.
Right.
Did you get worried about having Mateo? Like when you found out?
I was so scared when I found out about having Mateo, and it was just the anxiety part.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you have like businesses and then you have Ulises like in a house and you just moved and all that stuff. Like, was that, he wasn't planned, obviously?
He wasn't planned also.
Damn.
I'm like, how are they not planned? But I'm over there like planning them up.
I feel like most of the time they're not planned. And
they're
it's like
not.
they come at the perfect time. So like at some point Mateo's gonna be like,
Mateo was meant to be in this world for sure. But then they're so good. Like that's why I feel like it doesn't help either that like my family, they're like, you need to have more babies because they're
and that they come out so cute.
Good kids, right?
Like,
I'm like,
how about another one?
Like, why is he
like,
so adorable?
I already have my boy and my girl. What more do you guys want?
I tell Lisa, I'm like, look at his face. He's so cute. I'm like, imagine.
Lisa's like, oh.
No, he loves being a dad too. He's a great father. But no, they were not planned. And it is a lot on my plate for sure, on all of our plates. But he is so good. Like he's such a good kid. He's sleeping through the night already. So I feel like that's also been so helpful for me because I don't feel like I'm super overwhelmed either, you know?
Do you feel like he's different from the other two already? Because he's just a baby. Obviously.
It's hard to tell. He's still like a little potato, so he's not really doing anything. He's just like chilling.
Staring at the
he's just like, but he does have his own little personality for sure. He's a little grumpy pants too. Yeah. I'm like, who is he getting this from?
Oh my God. Okay, well, we're going to go on a quick break and then we'll come back and start talking. I want to talk about the anxiety part because you mentioned it. And obviously, EvetteXO Cosmetics and your YouTube and all that stuff. Perfect. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back, you guys. So I want to get into everybody's, not our favorite topic, but people like hearing it from us because it obviously brings some type of healing. And almost a lot of people start struggling with anxiety now. Anxiety, depression, and maybe, I don't know. I want people to be able to hear your story because I feel like you haven't really talked about it as much. I've seen like your YouTube videos and certain things like you've mentioned it and things that you've experienced, but like in depth, like when do you think you first developed it or like your first kind of episode, like when you first started really feeling anxiety?
I've been dealing with anxiety for almost 10 years now. So 2013 was the very first time that I experienced like a full-blown panic attack. Like, and I went straight from like anxiety to panic disorder. So like I was just having a lot of like reoccurring panic attacks. The anxiety, I feel like that's just natural. Like we all are naturally anxious people. You know, that's something that we deal with on a daily basis. But the panic disorders were the ones that really like started affecting.
Like every little thing kind of just triggered you?
Yeah. And it was so weird because it was hard to understand where the anxiety was coming from. Because I couldn't find the triggers. They were just happening. Yeah. You know, they were just like, I would be fine. I would having the best day ever. And then it was like panic attack.
Yep.
You know,
like,
so
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. And I mean, I know you know, you suffer from that. And I feel like nobody understands how they feel until you've experienced it. And I wouldn't wish them upon my worst enemy.
No,
like
it's literally the worst feeling. I even get chills talking about it right now. Like, I just feel like it's just this thing that comes over you like a cloud, like, and you don't know how to explain it to anybody.
It's like you feel like a sudden doom, like you're dying. Like I don't know, it's really hard to explain. Like I feel like te sientes very desesperada. Yes. You know?
You want to find an answer and you can't. It's like the end and something's pulling you over
Literally.
Here. And I feel like I only finally got the answers until I started therapy. Have you ever been like in a therapy session and then like they tell you start explaining to them something and you're like, oh, that's why.
Yes.
And you answer your own questions and I'm like, I'm stupid as fuck. Yeah. Like, why am I paying you if I'm answering my own questions?
I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be here.
Thank you for your service.
No, literally, yeah. I feel like after therapy, I feel like I definitely started to learn how to manage it a little bit better, because it's never gonna go away. That's like something that my therapist did tell me. It's like we have to find a solution on how to help you deal with it instead of you trying to make it go away, because it's never gonna go away.
Of course. Has it been hard as a mom though? Do you feel like it happened more after social media too though?
Honestly, I don't know, because in 2013 I wasn't really like doing social media as much. And the panic did start, around that time. But social media has made it worse these past like 2 years, 2-3 years or so.
Do you feel like more because of the pandemic too, though?
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of people have a lot of time in their day now.
Yeah, like just like there's more time for something.
Social media changed a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. And I definitely do miss like the old, because I feel like I don't want it to come off the wrong way, because I'm so thankful and grateful for where I'm at right now. But before, social media was like an outlet for me, like where I would feel like it was helping, and then it slowly transitioned to being like the trigger.
Yeah.
So
and heavy. Like just like, I don't want to say a drag, because it's not a drag. This is obviously a blessing, but it is just like, damn, like a lot of extra work for people to just come and judge you for every little thing.
And I mean, you've been doing this since you were young.
I know, so I feel you.
Yes.
Like since the reality show, like I've always been like insecure or like everybody's opinions, and then I got social anxiety.
Right.
And that's something I wanted to talk about, because I think that I don't know if that's the worst, but I'm just gonna put it up there. Like social media, social anxiety is like it's a bitch.
Right.
Like at events and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to think that you didn't like me.
Oh my God, stop.
I swear. but I knew that was an internal problem for me.
No.
Like I knew, no, I'm not saying like you did anything.
But it's funny that you say that, because now I get it.
Right.
And I say that because I'm so guarded. Exactly. Like I come off so guarded.
And so am I. So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe she's just like me, where it's like guards and this and that. And I have a resting bitch face. Yeah. So I'm like, I kind of get it. I'm like, maybe she has the same thing, like social anxiety. Like I hate going to events sometimes, but I know I have to. And I know that if I go to them, I'll get through the anxiety.
Right.
And it's just uncomfortable. Is it the same for you though?
No, it is for sure. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because it recently was something that was not brought up to my attention, but I started to pick up on it, because I feel like once you do get to know me, I open up very fast. Like I open up quick, and I'm just like, oh my God, like we start talking, and I start sharing my whole life with
And I feel like that's a misconception about you.
Yeah, and I definitely do try to like give everybody everything the way that I would treat like a family member. Like that's how I talk to everybody. But in the early stages of like meeting new people, I did not know how guarded I was, because I used to always get the, oh my God, I thought you were like a bee, or oh my God, I thought you didn't like me, or I thought that you were this. And then me in my head, I feel like I'm walking around with like rainbows and butterflies, and everybody's like that I would be super approachable. But I was actually editing a video not too long ago, and I was at an event, and I put my camera from afar. And the reason why I say that is because I think it's funny that I just noticed this about myself, but I put the camera really far, and I was recording myself, like engaging with like some of like the influencers that were there. And like, I was just doing like some basic stuff, like swatching some makeup and like talking. I looked at myself and I was like, oh my God. Like I did not look like I was a very approachable person. Like I looked so guarded. And I say guarded because I didn't look like, oh, she looks stuck up. I looked like I was just very concerned, like looking around, like.
But I feel like it's not just you though.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has that same vibe. Like they don't, like that awkwardness on like, they don't know how to approach people at events.
Right.
Like I follow you, I know you, but how can I talk to you?
Right. And it's also harder too when you have people who have been friends for a long time, and then there's like groups.
The groups. That's what kills me.
Yeah. So it's like, how do I like insert myself in there? You know?
Like, I'm just gonna put myself
Yeah.
here. I couldn't bring a +1.
No, and that's the worst because lately you can't bring a +1.
It's so frustrating.
Can I bring a friend?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and these are the type of events that we kind of have to go to.
Yeah.
And you know, it's part of the job, and it's a blessing. Obviously, like we get to go, and like it's fun, and everybody's there. But it's also just like, damn, like at least for me, I've avoided so many, and I'm just like, I just can't. That's why I'm like, okay, what kind of event is this gonna be?
Right. It's gonna be.
I'll be messaging my. I can't even message my friends. I'm like, are you going to this event? Because then, what if they're not invited?
Right.
And I'm like fuck, whatever.
Yeah. My question's always like, can I bring someone? You know, can I bring someone with me? Or like, you know, it's a little bit, it's at least a little bit of comfort because it is very intimidating, you know, and like sometimes I'm like, damn, at my grown age, like I'm still being here intimidated by these things, but it's hard.
It is very hard. How has Ulises like helped you though? Like, how does he react to your anxiety?
Well, he's so like nonchalant about everything that I feel like I needed somebody like that in my life because he's just so like
chill,
calm and collected that whenever I'm panicking, he's always just like, relax, babe, you know, like you're fine, you know, and I'm just like, oh my god, like my whole drive here, I'm like, oh my god, I'm having anxiety, you know, like I'm just always like in constant like adrenaline, panic, like overthinking. I'm the most like overthinker of life, like, and I feel like now as I've gotten older, I've had to just learn that we're all going through our own stuff, you know, like we're all in our own head, and it's nice to like know that you like, you know, you're there and it doesn't seem like you're having like anxiety or that you're,
but
you know, and you're over there like feeling the exact same way, and I'm like, why is she not talking to me, or why am I not talking to her? And we're both just like panicking, and we don't realize that it's definitely an internal thing, you know. It's not even anything to do with anybody else. It's just maybe the way that we're coming off, or we're not being the most approachable in that sense, you know. But it's been good. Like I feel like I've also been trying to put myself out there a little bit more. I've been definitely going to a little bit more.
Because you've stayed in your lane for a long time.
Yeah, I have.
Like not like in the mix too much. And I've known that. I'm like, and I don't get myself into like everything, but I've just like, I noticed that she's in her lane, and maybe she has her own reasons, and you know, like, and I feel like that's a lot of like another misconception or a judgment, at least for me, like what people think about me. If I'm not hanging out with certain like influencers and I have my group of friends, like I just don't make friends, or like I'm hated or whatever. Right. Like it's like, no, like I just mind my business. Everybody do their own thing.
Right. And I think that's definitely something that a lot of people, I think people just like to start drama.
Shit. Yeah.
They want to like find something to watch or talk about. But as somebody like myself, like taking this back to when I was just really young, like my family has been everything to me from the start. Like I feel like they're the only people that I feel like,
more than
and they're always going to be my safe place no matter what. So even if this sounds bad, you know, but if I have an event or if I have like my nephew's birthday party, like I'm always gonna pick being with my family over anything.
Oh, I get it.
You know,
that just happened to me too.
Yeah.
Where like my sister's, when this is gonna come out, my sister just got married again. Well, she's having her vow renewal, and I had an event for the podcast.
Okay.
They're like, oh, go, like this would be great, like, you know, it would be great for the podcast, and I'm like, I can't. Like I have to be at my sister's like wedding. Like it's like she went through a lot of shit through her marriage. So I'm just like, that's more important to me, because this is gonna last me longer than what I'm doing over here.
Yeah, I've always had the mentality of like my family is going to love me like rich or poor or happy or not happy, like healthy or not healthy. Like they're always gonna be like my number one, you know, supporters, and I'm always going to stick with like my group, and that's just how it is. And that has nothing to do, because when I am at events, like I mean, you've been there, like we talk, we socialize, and I feel like people are just waiting for like those pictures, like how come you didn't post a picture with that person, or how come you didn't say hi to that person? I'm like, we were just talking.
Exactly.
We were just chilling.
Like, and there's like becomes this, I'm like, no, I'll be texting, and then if anything, like if someone ever said anything, I'm like, did you see what this person said about us? Like whatever. It's like there's no reason. And at the end of the day, again, they just want the attention.
Right.
And for like that reply or that comment, and just like,
yeah, but
it's a blessing and a curse.
It is. It is, but it's good. And that's the good thing too, that we do have such a good supportive circle, because also too, whenever I do have bad days on social media, I like that, you know, my friends aren't on social media, and that I could just turn off my phone and ignore that life. You know, it's like, it's not real, you know, like to me, like sometimes
that's
a lot
not
of that's
gonna last forever.
It's not, especially like that comment or like that, you know, scenario that somebody might have, like it's not going to last very long. But that time that I'm spending with my family to just be there, like that's what's important.
And things that they don't ever see.
Yeah.
So it's just like there's a lot of silent battles that people don't see that happen internally. And it's just like they're moments of growth that people won't see, but as long as you feel good as a person.
Yeah, for sure.
What's a piece of advice that you can give to someone battling in the same position as you or with anxiety?
To just know that they're not alone, you know, and it does get better. I feel like a lot of the times I'm in my head of thinking that I'm the only person going through this, and I'm not. You know, there's so many people out there that are going through similar situations, and you're not alone. And also to just be kind to yourself, because I feel like I am so hard on myself, always constantly like judging every single thing that I do. And again, social media doesn't help either, because then they're adding on top of that judgment. But just being really kind to yourself, and if you need to take a break, take it. You know, don't feel so pressured to like do that, especially like even moms and, you know, single moms and just all moms. Like that's the hardest job to do. Like nobody can tell me otherwise, you know, like being a mom is just so hard and tedious, and you have to be so emotionally and mentally present for your children because they feel everything, you know. And if I'm not okay, my babies are not okay. So like I always have to make sure that I prioritize myself, like my mental health, myself, because I have to be 100% for them at the end of the day.
Energy and all that stuff.
Yes,
I love that.
Yes,
I love that. Okay, we're gonna go on a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about YouTube and your cosmetics and all that stuff.
Perfect.
All right, you guys, welcome back. So you run a couple businesses, right?
Yes, if
you have, but your main one is EvetteXO.
Yeah, well, besides like EvetteXO as far as social media does, but yeah, EvetteXO Cosmetics, and then we have Active Faith.
Yes.
And then I have like my merch line,
which I love, by the way.
We have to,
you guys
we
have
to send you some stuff.
Yes.
We just launched a bunch of stuff.
Oh my God. I saw the cargos. I saw like
you're gonna love those.
The knit sweaters. I'm like, it's cozy season. Let's get into it. No, but I love it. Do you feel like also because you're like an OG YouTube girly, everything has changed and you've kind of had to adjust to what people want and use now? Like that adjustment, has it been hard? Because you kind of, like how you mentioned before, like you miss like obviously older crowds and like the old YouTube days. But as far as like your content and stuff, has it been hard to adjust, or do you feel like it's been pretty easy?
I think I kind of just try to go with the flow with like what's trending, you know, and like what is happening. I feel like a lot of us just kind of go with that flow. But it has been an adjustment because I feel like I like to stick with like what I'm used to and what I'm comfortable. And then people are like, hey, like,
are you a creature of habit?
Are you? I am.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I just love to stick with what I know and like a routine for like myself. And it has been quite an adjustment, especially with so many social media platforms now.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so many social media platforms.
To be just YouTube.
That's it. And now it's like TikTok and Snapchat and Reels and Shorts and like it's so hard. And then they all require, like everybody says, recycle your content, but it doesn't perform the same.
No.
If you're recycling your content, it does not perform.
Yes. If you post like from TikTok to Instagram, it won't do the same. It's like, okay, like, so do I just stick to TikTok, or like what's going to be best?
Yeah. Like even with my Instagram, I feel like a lot of the very just like music, Reels, like those do really
little
good.
Tedious things.
But if I post those on TikTok, they're like boring. So so it's like I have to talk. I have to like grab their attention right away. Like, oh my God, guys, let me show you guys my outfit.
Right.
So it's a little bit different. So that's been hard because with our brands, we do have to be also consistent with those platforms.
Yes.
So I'm consistent, you know, with EvetteXO, and then I have my team that's like trying to get all those trends with EvetteXO Cosmetics, and then you know I have Elisa is panicking with me over here because he's like Active Faith, you know, and I'm like trying to like navigate all of the businesses, and it's like it's so hard because there's so many platforms.
How did you start them though? What was the first one? It was EvetteXO.
Well, like my merch. Yeah, I've been doing my merch for years, like almost 7 years.
You had the estados, right?
Yes, yes, the estados, and those honestly, like I'm so grateful for them because they have been with me since 7 years now, and they're still doing so good. Like I just changed up the design and like the style, and they, oh my God, like those for sure are like my best. Like I love designing those. And then the next one was EvetteXO Cosmetics. So with EvetteXO Cosmetics, it's funny because I started EvetteXO Cosmetics maybe like 3 or 4 months before the pandemic hit.
Right.
And I remember like me being super excited. We were moving to LA, and I was like, okay, like I'm going to be able to be more hands-on with like my manufacturer. I'm going to be able to like speed up the process and like really get like these things going. And with cosmetics, like you will invest and then you won't see anything for about 2 years.
Yes.
Because it's so long. Yes, even with the clothing too. So with EvetteXO Cosmetics, it was so long for me to be able to like see anything coming back. And I remember the pandemic hitting and me being like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Everybody was like, we're gonna go through, you know, the worst like hit of financial, like it's gonna be so bad. And I'm like, and here I am trying to start a cosmetic line. Like, how the hell am I gonna do this? You know? But I didn't give up. I was like, I'm gonna just take this time to just really focus on my brand. And it's cute because Elisa's has pictures of like me at like 3 a.m. in the morning, like putting my boxes together. And the simplest thing, like an eyelash box, you know, me literally cutting everything because I was my own like designer, my own everything at the time.
You had the initial vision.
Yeah. So like I would grab scissors and then like my manufacturers, like they didn't understand my vision. So I couldn't do it on a design. I'm like, let me just show you. So like I would like glue things together and like put them together. Like my little duo box, the one that has like the lashes with the glue, that one, like I remember like me putting it, I'm like, this one's gonna be iconic. Like I was just so excited about like the simplest things. And now that I'm a brand owner, like I pay attention to those details, you know. People are like throwing the box away and I'm like, I designed that.
I know,
you know?
I always I feel so bad like when they do, like I know brands, like it's a payment. It's so like, I'm like, they're gonna throw it away anyways. And I feel so bad about it. And then
and how much it took to just make that one box. Like, literally.
Are you happy now that you get to see the the fruits of like your labor, basically? Like everything that's
it's been amazing. Like I remember just starting the brand in general and me putting all of my savings, Jenicka, like all of my savings into this brand. And I just remember, like, if this fails, like what the fuck? What am I gonna do? Because I put literally, I'm like, I put everything into this brand. And I just remember like me having conversations with my manager and like me saying like I don't want to go like the investment route. Like I want to do everything by myself. Like I want to do everything like me, my vision. I want to have full control. Yes, I wanted to like do it the right way. And I just remember like that launch day happening and me being like, oh my God, is this gonna be like what it's supposed to be? And oh my God, it was the best thing to ever happen to EvetteXO Cosmetics. Like we sold out, we had thousands of orders, and I just felt so blessed. Mateo definitely made it like a little slow for me this past year because I was pregnant.
Right.
But coming 2024, we have so many things lined up.
You already have
back-to-back drops, like everything that's been working, that's been in the works for the past 2 years.
You know what? And it works better because you're so hands-on about it. Like, and I feel like I always say this: if someone's not putting their heart into it, I don't think it's gonna do as good. Yeah. And you could tell that you're very passionate about that, and like, you know, obviously Act of Faith and your merch line. Like, how do you balance that? Because you got CEO, you're a wife, you got the kids. You got to take care of yourself.
Therapy girl. No. I'm like, I'm stressed. No, honestly, because we do have a lot of help. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of help behind, like even just with for the businesses, we have like our teams who are very supportive and everything. And Ulises is a little bit more hands-on with Act of Faith. Right. I kind of just go in there with like approvals. Like, yes, I like that. Put my feminine touch to it because I do want to still target like a lot of my audience. Is everything. Yes, everything. And it does make the biggest difference. Yes. The biggest difference. Because there's been times when he's like trying to just do something. I'm like, babe, just listen to me. Please listen to me. It's going to do better if we do this, you know? But he's very passionate too about like the brand. So that's like his baby and everything. And, you know, we're still growing her and she's still, I love how you talk about her like she's a person, right? But like she's still growing.
No, but they're babies.
Yeah, like she's still growing and we're so proud of her. And I just love that we've had the privilege to be able to do something together too. That's something that was just for us. And that's something that we both also share together. Like fashion was something that we always kind of, you know, had in common. We were both had that little passion. Pictures, your outfit. Yeah, like we had that passion for it. So I was like, let's just do something that we both love. It's been great. It's been really good. And I'm super excited. We do have a lot of stuff that's also going to be coming out for Act of Faith. But it's also slow too, because like I said, we do a lot of the investing and our brand is cut and sew. So we don't just,
it takes a lot more time.
Yeah. We have to like design everything. And we've lost a lot of money too, just with the brand because we've had bad, you know, shipments or things like the sewing is bad or they didn't do the right placement.
Yeah. For people that don't know, cut and sew is like literally when it's handmade. It's not literally bought from China. Yeah. Like they're literally making it here. They're like putting it together. Like, so it's a lot more expensive. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that as to why things are more expensive or why you're selling it at certain price points because it's literally, you're trying to give the best quality at the end of the day.
And that's too what we really, really focus on is the quality. Like I always want to make sure that when they get their product, they're like, oh my God, this was worth, the $70.
If you were to put something from China or for something else, girl, it would be the end of the world.
Yeah.
It would be everywhere. EvetteXO,
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. I cannot wait. I'm gonna go on the website right now.
Girl, we'll get you stocked up. Don't worry.
If you pack my order, just kidding. What are the main goals for the brand? Like, what do you see? How do you see EvetteXO Cosmetics in 5 years?
In 5 years, oh my God. I mean, ideally, I would love to just have like a full team just kind of running everything to get to the point where I guess I'm not the only person in coming with like a lot of the ideas, because it is just, me and like my girls right now. But I do hope, she's like in stores and just thriving and really known for the quality of the product. I feel like something that I've been really struggling with is just trying to separate myself as EvetteXO, the brand owner, and EvetteXO Cosmetics. Like, I want to be able to target an audience that is loving my product, not just because it's me.
Right.
So that's been like the most challenging. So I really do hope that in the next few years, like it does, get to a level of success where people are supporting not just because it's my brand.
Right. Of course. Would you drop YouTube just to focus on the brands?
I haven't really even been that consistent on YouTube. I feel like I've slowly not drifted away from like social media in general. Like, I still try to post and be as consistent as I can, but right now, my main focus is just trying to establish longevity. And I feel like that's kind of like where my focus is at right now, because unfortunately, I don't know, how long social media is going to be, or even how long I'm going to have the energy to still do this and do this for such a long time with my kids. So I want to be able to invest in my brands so I can give at least my children even something to kind of like take over, something where they don't feel like they have to work as hard as I did,
legacy for them.
Yeah.
I love that. You're such a good mom. I love it. What's next for you though? Like, what plans, like aside from the brands, like where do you see yourself in 5 years, let's say?
5 years. I mean,
number 5.
I know. At home with like 5 kids. No, honestly, just trying to just keep myself in a good place and be happy. And I mean, genuinely happy in the sense of like not having to worry about anything besides me, my family, my kids, traveling. Like, I definitely want us to get to the point where like our businesses are just running themselves and I could just spend time with the kids. I love to travel. Lisa's and I love to travel since, we were dating. So now to be able to do that with the kids, I feel like that would be ideal.
I could see that.
But I know that we're never going to stop working, because Lisa's and I have way too much passion to never
stop working. No, and it's like
working.
engraved in your head already. You're like naturally worrying.
I'm going to work in 5 years, and I'm still going to be working in 5 years.
We'll see. We're going to check back in 5 years, you guys. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to send her a clip. I'm like, this is what you said 5 years ago.
You're supposed to be traveling right now.
I know. Where did you go since then? Okay, well, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
When I started the podcast, I really wanted to ask like harder questions. And obviously, like I said in the beginning, I want people to see you and the guest behind the fame in social media. And because at the end of the day, we're still human dealing with real shit.
Right.
And everyday life. And I just wanted, I don't know, I hope, and I know that people are going to be so inspired by your story and everything that you've been through and your anxiety. And I just really appreciate you coming and being vulnerable, because I know you were a little anxious coming here.
But
and
thank you.
Comfortable.
I was.
All that. Is there any advice that you would want to give to someone that is accomplishing their dreams, is a mom of 3? Any advice?
To just start and do it. I feel like that's the hardest part. It's always getting to that point of starting. And once you start, it's all just going to flow. You have to just put yourself out there. Start, do it, and you're going to see how it wasn't that scary. I feel like we're also scared of failure, and it's like, what's the worst that can happen? You just keep trying.
Period. You guys heard it from her first. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys for watching and listening to today's episode. Make sure you never miss an episode. Subscribe, like, and comment. Make sure you follow Yvette. I'm going to leave her social media tags in the description, so that way you guys can go ahead and get to know more about her. Get in touch with us and let us know who you want to see on the next episode, and we'll see you